Hello everybody, Simon Weatherall here, and just wanted to welcome you to our session on analytics. All right, analytics sounds really boring. Depending on whether you like numbers or not, this can actually be a bit of fun. All right, so it's one of those things, it's actually quite relevant to what we do. Analytics is super important if you want to be successful in any kind of affiliate marketing. And the reason is, if you know your numbers, you can be a lot more sensible, a lot more savvy about your marketing. You'll know what's good marketing, what's bad marketing, and you'll be able to actually start knowing whether a traffic source is profitable or not profitable, where to cut off your ads and all the rest of it. Now, as a beginner, as somebody that may not have gone into this in detail before, you're probably a little bit behind the 8 ball and you've got a little bit of learning to do and everything else. So there's a couple of very important things that we need to do. And you're probably going, Simon, all we want to do is start driving traffic and everything else. That's great, but you are doing yourself a disservice if you don't learn this first. So one of the first things you understand is you need to know about traffic costs, okay? This is going to be critical. And then the second one is lead acquisition, okay? I'll just do that nice and short. Lead acquisition costs, you need to know that. And then basically, once you've got those, you want to know too what's going to be you can either have your cost per click, depending on paid ads, that's important. And then we also want to know what your cost per sale is. Especially when you're doing one-off stuff, if you're paying for traffic to go to something that's one-off, you really want to make sure you know your numbers. Otherwise, you run the risk of running huge losses and everything else. Now, you've heard me say it on before, you've heard it many times in the industry, the money is in the list. We always recommend that you go from your traffic, your eyeballs, go to an opt-in before that. So your opt-in is going to build your database and then you send them to your offer, okay? So that's how it should work. And then your offer, if they accept your offer or they like it, they're going to buy from you, you're going to make money. That's the whole idea. But by having the database, we are being able to send people for a second, a third time, a fourth time there, and then we can send them to, offer 2, and then to offer 3. So we can have multiple bites at them. Hopefully we create a happy customer, and then he's going to spend money over and over again. So we're going to have our 5th number, which is super important, is the customer average value, okay? We are never, ever going to get perfect results on anything. We're never going to know that what traffic source we get is going to lead to exact figures. But if we have guidelines, if we understand how our funnels work, if we understand how we work with our funnels, then all of that comes together to make a lot more successful, profitable business. And that starts with understanding your numbers, okay? So kind of boring, a bit makes it actually sound a bit like work and everything else, but hey, this is a real business at the end of the day, and how seriously you take it and how well you perform it is going to depend on how profitable you are. If you start knowing these numbers, then everything's great. So for example, your traffic cost always wants to be, you always want your cost per sale to be lower than your actual sales, Now, obviously, again, if we're using the matrix of 5 and customer average value, we get more bites at the cherry. So over a lifetime, we're going to get better. But ideally, if we're going to run anything, we want our sales to be greater than our traffic cost. And this, if we can achieve this up front, then we equal instant profit, okay? And if we got instant profit, then anything that comes on the back end is a bonus. You know, we don't mind then, like, you know, whatever else comes is pure cash. And people talk about, this is something else. People talk about you have to sell high ticket and all the rest of it. Not if you can have your sales greater than your traffic costs at the initial stage, even if it's just by having low ticket items and everything else, just to get that funnel working so that you basically can build a list for free, then you can sell them more and more stuff on the back end. Everything becomes pure profit. If we can have it so that we can get, you know, you think about it, if a lead cost, you know, if you can get a good quality lead, say, you know, up to somewhere up to like $5, and you can get some instant sale of $5 or more, then that leads cost us nothing, but we can use them over and over again for a lifetime thing. So we always want the lead cost. That we want to keep this sensible and relatively low. Now, each market, each niche will be slightly different. If you're selling Mercedes-Benz, your lead cost can be a whole lot higher. You know, my online visa business, if I'm selling a lead cost, I could easily spend $100 for a lead generation, as I don't have to, but I'm saying I could spend up to that because what the generation of revenue comes from it is much higher. If you're selling Mercedes-Benz and your lead acquisition cost is $1,000, but you're making 20,000 profit, you're still making a huge profit. You could go up to 5,000, 10,000, and assuming you don't have stupid other overheads, you'd probably be fine. So you want to keep your lead cost as low as possible, okay? That's the whole thing. We want to keep this low, okay? And then when we get to our sales, we want our sales to be high. And I said, with sales, we're ideally sales day one, you want instant money, but we've also going to have sales day 1, 2, 3, you know, 150, 370. Like, you know, they can be a customer for us for life, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. So this is really important. Look at your analytics, start tracking numbers, start tracking lead sources. You know, what you want to do is create an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, all sounds a bit boring and a bit business-like and a bit nerdy, but start creating an Excel spreadsheet. We might even put some on the trainings for you to have a look at. And the things that you want to do, you want to track the dates. Actually, let's get a new. We want to track, you want to be looking at your dates. You want to be looking at your traffic source, okay? Very, very important. Where's the traffic source coming from? And then we want to know what the cost of that traffic is. And that'll give us some very basic stuff, okay, to start with. And then once we've got the cost of the traffic, what was our immediate return that we got from that traffic? You know, were they responsive? Were they buyers and everything else? This will give us some really, really instant stuff. I suggest that you tag and track everything. We use basically, we use either get response. These are your autoresponders, but they're also your CRM systems. Get response, you know, there's Aweber. If you've got a bigger budget, you can move to Infusionsoft in the future. You know, there are others around, MailChimp, a whole lot of other stuff. You'll see this on our Hydrus website. There'll be a whole lot of different ones you can have a look at and our reviews of all of them. That's on howdoyourateitsam.com. They will be there in the future, so you can go and have a look at those. So what we do is we can do this, and always, like, you know, you should do something else that you should put here is the campaign tracking. So campaign tracking. And that way, you know where, when a lead came into your system, you'll know where they are. So you have your traffic source, but you'll give it a tracking code. So you'll have your tracking code that tells you what it was. So this might be, you know, Facebook today, 26th of April. You know, that may be the way that you do your tracking. And then you'll know later on when you do your analytics, you'll know that everything that came on Facebook on this day, you can track through their spend and whether the cost of acquisition was worth it. You know, maybe again, it's, you know, you did something on Instagram. Same thing, Instagram, April 26. So you can track all these things through, look at the date, look at it there, put it in tracking. Now, another useful resource that is super good is Bitly, bit.ly. This, guys, is free. There is an upgrade version, but to start with, it is free. I know you all love free. This will at least allow you to do, and I'll do a whole session on Bitly at one stage, but if you have a look at our affiliate training, we highlighted more in there. But go and have a look at Bitly, because the great advantage of Bitly is you have a tiny little link, is like bit.ly, and then it'll be / it might be like, you know, Simon says, or Simon Facebook, how's that? So that might be the simple code that we're doing. Instead of most affiliate products have blah, 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 .com / you know, question mark, ref ID equals, you know, Simon as my username. And then it might have like, you know, custom ID equals Facebook, you know, so my up one there, fine 26th of April. Now that is one horrible big long code that I've got to do, but I can turn that through Bitly, I can turn it into that, okay? And then you can track it through. It's got really good tools. It'll tell you the geographical location. It'll tell where people looked in from, how many people clicked on it, you know, the frequency of it, the timing of it all, everything else. So just simple things like this, free software, you will start tracking and getting a better understanding. Combine it with your Excel sheets here. We've got our Excel spreadsheet. You start putting all this together, you can then put your Bitly code into up here, okay? So that'd be one of your columns. And then you go through and you have all of this, you have it there to go back and you can have a look. You can go into your autoresponders here, you can do a search using this term and the search will show you exactly where all the leads were and then it'll track through and all your other stuff as well. So by planning begin, and we'll do a video coming up on strategy and planning and how to do this. But I think it's super important you understand this before you start doing all these activities so that you know what's working. Have you heard of Pareto's Principle, otherwise known as the 80-20 rule, okay? 80% of your results are going to come from 20% of your efforts. Wouldn't you love to know what 20% is actually producing you those results instead of doing it blindly? Analytics and the tracking is going to give you exactly that, okay? So this is, as far as I'm concerned, absolutely no brainer. Understand this, take the time to do it. Every time if you're gonna do a lead, put them into this spreadsheet. It's gonna take you an extra couple of minutes, but at the end of the day, it is going to save you so much time and wasted effort in the future. All right, that's analytics. I think it's super useful and very handy to have and learn. So understand this and we'll see you on our next video coming up, probably on strategy and planning to get you all started. So fantastic, great to have you on board and we will see you on the next video. Cheers. Don't forget, go below, like what you see. If you like it, leave a comment and tell us if there's anything we can help you with. Alrighty, cheers guys.